This is a Swede Speaks.
It's Friday, and Friday means that it's time for This Week in Sweden, where I go through some of the news from Sweden during the last 7 days, from Friday until Thursday. But before I do that, I would like to tell you that this is my day job, and I would like to thank everyone who supports my work. Your support is appreciated and necessary. And if you like what I do, if you think what I do is important and that I should continue doing so, please consider sending me $1 or $2 or 10 or 100. That's always greatly appreciated. Check the box under this video for information on how to donate. So now, let's get started. Friday, July 6, 2018. In Almedalen, in Visby, on the island of Gotland in the Baltic Sea. During Politicians' Week in Almedalen, Christian Democrat leader Ebba Busch Thor attacked the left's family policies, saying that leftist thinking has become a part of Swedish liberalism and that family policies are blinded by socialism. Quote, "The left focuses more on stopping girls from playing with dolls than to fight for more educators in preschools," Busch Thor said. In Malmö, in the province of Skåne, in the south of Sweden, during Friday evening, there was a fight in downtown Malmö and one person was brought to hospital. The fight had ended when the police arrived. It was reported that the staff of the Swedish Public Employment Office risks getting a heavier workload. As a consequence of that, job seekers might get fewer appointments with caseworkers. 7% of the employees at the Swedish Public Employment Office are on sick leave. According to a poll, the Sweden Democrats is Sweden's largest political party. 25.6% responded in a poll carried out by the pollster Centio that they would vote for the Sweden Democrats. The Social Democrats is the second largest party in the poll with 21.2%, and the Moderate Coalition Party is the third largest party with 18.1%. The Swedish general election will be held on September 9th. It will be an interesting evening and I hope to be able to live stream during the election night. And in Malmö again. The Migration Court of Malmö dismissed the government's new law, the so-called senior high school law, gymnasielagen, the law that is supposed to allow migrants to stay in Sweden if they attend Swedish senior high school, even if they can't prove their identity. The Malmö Migration Court ruled that the law cannot be used and that migrants still need to prove their identity. Interestingly enough, 1 week later, today, the Stockholm Migration Court ruled that the law goes against superior laws and that the law is impossible to use. On Saturday, July 7th, in the neighborhood of Augustenborg, in Malmö, in the province of Skåne, in the south of Sweden, it was reported that the delivery company PostNord doesn't deliver packages to Augustenborg since the neighborhood is considered unsafe. In Le Mans, in France, at an auction, the Swedish Inheritance Fund sold 2 very unique cars and were paid a little more than 36 million Swedish kroner. That's roughly $4 million US. The Swedish Inheritance Fund takes over property from deceased people who leave no heirs. It should be pointed out that first cousins are not heirs according to Swedish law, unless there is a will making them heirs. The Swedish Inheritance Fund is supposed to give funds to charity. In later years, the Swedish Inheritance Fund has given funds to, for instance, Ibn Rushd, an Islamic adult educational association, which, for instance, have invited the anti-Semite Yvonne Ridley to Sweden. The Swedish Inheritance Fund has also given money to projects doing identity politics experiments on children in Uppsala. So, good news for the Swedish Inheritance Fund. On Sunday, July 8th, in Ekshärad, in Hagfors municipality, in the province of Värmland, close to the Norwegian border, during Sunday, a man in a wheelchair booked transportation service for the disabled through the public transportation company Värmlandstrafik. However, the man could only pay with cash, and the public transportation company doesn't allow cash payments. The first driver got him to Ekshärad, but when he wanted to go home, the second driver refused to drive him since he only had cash. The man was then left on the street. After 4 hours, a 20-year-old man, Victor Nyman, saw the man in a wheelchair and helped him. The man was, according to Nyman, half lifeless and covered with mosquitoes. However, the young man got the man in a wheelchair home, and then he commented on it in a post he made on the municipality's Facebook page. According to a ruling in 2015, cash is legal tender in Sweden, and thus all creditors have to accept cash. On Monday, July 9th, in Vänersborg, in the province of Östergötland, about 54 miles to the northeast of Gothenburg, it was reported that Ganesh Bista, aged 44, and his family are to be deported from Sweden. Ganesh Bista runs an Indian restaurant. The reason for the deportation is that he didn't take any vacation at his previous job. On Tuesday, July 10th, in the neighborhood of Rinkeby in Stockholm, during Tuesday evening, 2 men in their 20s were shot, one of them in his arm, the other one in his leg. The injuries are not life-threatening according to Fredrik Nylén at the Stockholm police. A suspect perpetrator was shortly thereafter arrested. And in Gothenburg, there was a big fight at Kungstorget, a square in downtown Gothenburg, during Tuesday evening. According to the police, roughly 20 persons were involved, and according to some information, fixed sticks and iron pipes were used as weapons. The fight stopped when the police arrived, and a man with head injuries was found nearby and brought to hospital. The police believes that the fight might be related to a fight during Saturday, a few days earlier, where a man died after having been thrown in the water at Brunnsparken, another square in downtown Gothenburg. In Södertälje, in the province of Södermanland, to the southwest of Stockholm, at Södertälje Hospital there have been violence and threats. Now personnel will have a pin on them saying, "Together against threats and violence." The idea is that the pin should encourage patients and their relatives to be kind to the personnel. This is not a joke. On Wednesday, July 11th, in the province of Dalsland, in the west of Sweden, at the border towards Norway, due to a lack of resources and severe crimes to investigate, the police in Dalsland have to deprioritize other crimes. Quote, "This is troublesome and frustrating. It isn't reasonable that people will have to wait for so long to have crimes committed against them investigated," close quote, according to Monica Lindberg, police inspector in Mellerud, which is in Dalsland. In the neighborhood of Hisingen in Gothenburg, during Wednesday afternoon, a man was knife robbed and lost his card and his code. The perpetrator, wearing sweatpants, then fled the scene. By the card, I mean his bank card, of course. In Stockholm, Citizens Coalition, a liberal conservative party that isn't represented in the Swedish parliament, is not allowed to participate in Stockholm Pride, according to a press release from the party. The reason is that Citizens Coalition supposedly don't fit Stockholm Pride's basic values. At earlier Pride festivals in Sweden, some people have carried signs saying, quote, "Death to the Sweden Democrats and other bourgeois sympathizers," close quote. Alana Sade, leader of Citizens Coalition, says in the press release that, quote, "Stockholm Pride committed a gigantic mistake. Citizens Coalition is a liberal conservative party. In lifestyle issues we are libertarian, and we stand behind the rights of gay, bi and transsexual people's rights, and we are opposed to all kinds of racism and discrimination. We consider participating as exhibitors at the Pride Festival area as an opportunity to meet sympathizers and potential voters. Stockholm Pride now reveals themselves as an organization that obstructs meetings and debate and who works with exclusion as a method." Close quote. And yesterday, Thursday, July 12th, in Innsbruck, in Austria, at an EU summit, migration policies were debated. According to Susanne Palme at Sveriges Radio, meaning Sweden's radio, Sweden was isolated in their position at the meeting, with most EU migration ministers saying that the EU must close its borders. Palme says that the Swedish migration minister, Helene Fritzon, said that you can't close the borders for asylum seekers. Defense Minister Peter Hultqvist and Home Affairs Minister Morgan Johansson, both Social Democrats, wrote in a debate article in the mainstream media outlet Expressen that gang crimes in Sweden are a consequence of the policies of the moderate coalition party and the Sweden Democrats. According to the two Social Democrats, the moderates and the Sweden Democrats' policies lead to economic gaps, to division and to insecurity. According to the debate piece, both the moderates and the Sweden Democrats want to lower taxes, and they also propose less job security and lower wages for some, which, according to Hultqvist and Johansson, leads to gang crimes. And in Stockholm, during Thursday night, Stockholm City Metro Station and Odenplan Metro Station, both in downtown Stockholm, were closed down. This was done after an escalator suddenly stopped and then started going backwards, without anyone being able to press an emergency stop button. During a press meeting, Caroline Ottosson, head of administration at the public transportation company Storstockholms Lokaltrafik, meaning Greater Stockholm Local Transit Company, said that, quote, "When we opened an escalator, we found out that some parts were rusty. These defects were then found in more escalators," close quote. So these were some of the news that came out of Sweden during the last 7 days, from Friday until Thursday. As you probably understand, I had to pick some stories over others, otherwise this video would simply be too long. And that's what I have to say about this. As I said in the beginning, this is my day job, and I would like to thank everyone who supports my work, and if you like what I do, if you think what I do is important and that I should continue doing so, please consider sending me $1 or $2, or 10, or 100, that's always greatly appreciated. Also, subscribe, like, recommend this channel to friends and family, and keep me in your prayers. And remember to check out my Saturday live stream tomorrow at 1 p.m. Los Angeles time, 2 p.m. Edmonton time, 3 p.m. Dallas time, 4 p.m. New York time, 5 p.m. Bermuda time, 6 p.m. Nuuk Greenland time, 9 p.m. London time, 10 p.m. Copenhagen time, 11 p.m. Tallinn time, and midnight Moscow time. I hope to see you all there. So, until next time, have a nice day and God bless.